Welcome to the Shield Your Business from Chaos podcast, where there's no building, no people, no third-party suppliers, and no systems all combined to create Chaos the Dragon, which is battled by King Phoenix and his shield.
Welcome to part 3 of this 4-part series on when to invest in business continuity software or consultants. In the last episode, we looked at the pros and cons of software and consultants for a small organization that has no business continuity expertise in-house. If that sounds like your organization, I encourage you to go back and have a listen to part 2. Today, we're going to move on to larger organizations. These larger organizations may have internal BCP expertise and they may not. So we'll start with those that have the expertise and we'll start with the software considerations. With large organizations, to build and maintain a plan without software is a pretty torturous and inefficient process from the perspective of writing the plan, maintaining the plan, and even using the plan. In addition to some of the considerations we looked at for smaller companies around security, plan access, and compliance, large organizations have some additional considerations that they'll want to keep in mind when considering software. One that we often see overlooked is plan migration. When looking at software, be sure to ask about plan migration services to get your current plan, if you have one, imported into your new software tool. Depending on the level of tool you're purchasing, you can get plan migration completed for free or for a very reasonable cost. Having the software provider migrate the plan for you can save you tons of time and see your plan incorporated into the tool in a manner that best leverages all the features the tool has available to you. This makes your plan more efficient to maintain going forward. In a large organization that needs to work from one master document, version control is key. You'll need to ensure that all teams are working from the same version of the plan and that you don't have multiple versions in circulation, so you'll want to make sure your software does this for you as well. As I mentioned at the start, when you're part of a large, complex organization, automation and efficiency are key. Be sure to ask potential vendors how their software can save you time when developing and maintaining your plan. If the vendor can't demonstrate how the application is going to make your life easier, then you need to move on to another vendor. Business continuity plans in large organizations can get pretty giant and unwieldy. There is a lot involved in getting a large, complex organization up and running. All this content means that information can get stale and get stale fast. Team members can slip through the cracks in terms of keeping themselves updated on the planned content, and they can even leave the organization unnoticed by the business continuity coordinator. With the right analytical tools, your software can keep you apprised of who has been active at the tool, what sections are getting stale dated, and what team members have left the organization and need to be replaced by current personnel. Just a note about what I have not included here, and that is the integration with internal systems. A lot of companies come to us looking for points of integration between BCP software and their internal systems to make it easier for their users to access and maintain their plan day to day. While this can add convenience, there are inherent risks associated with interdependencies between your business continuity planning software and other systems. For example, if your software is set up to support single sign-on and your Active Directory goes down, so may your access to the very plan you need to continue business while your network access is in trouble. When considering any form of integration between your business continuity software and your everyday systems, triple check that when one goes down, the other will not follow. It is absolutely critical that you have access to the information you need to recover, independent of the IT infrastructure you use for your everyday operations. So what should a large organization look for in their software? You're going to want a threat risk assessment survey that will perform some analysis and automation to rank your threats for you and reduce the bias that can result in the latest disaster hitting the news being the first in your list of threats. Your business impact analysis is going to have to be more robust, with again some built-in analysis to show you what your critical processes are with your shortest recovery time objectives and the critical resources required to support those. Look for an application with databases that house key information that can be entered once and used many times throughout your plan so that a simple phone number change does not generate multiple plan edits. Similar to small organizations, you're still going to want to be able to manage permissions so teams have access to the information they need and are not seeing information they shouldn't. In addition to permissions, you're going to want to have different user role types as well, so that you can put some limitations on who can read content and who can actually edit content. Also of value is some sort of last modified date to reflect when content was last updated and by whom. In addition, you'll want robust analytics and reporting that will tell you how current your information is and where you should be focusing your energy to keep your plan up to date. Built-in notification is another feature you may want to consider for a larger organization. Call trees are very inefficient and prone to breakdown, and a separate notification tool can leave you having to maintain personnel information in two different places. Similar to smaller organizations, you again may want to consider a mobile app that will provide teams with offline copies of their plan on their mobile phones so that plans can be accessed anytime, anywhere, regardless of connectivity issues. And lastly, storage. While in small organizations, storage is really not an issue. As your organization grows in size, so may your document storage requirements. So just make sure the application you're considering will meet your storage needs. The considerations when it comes to consulting for a large organization that has internal expertise are not that different from a small organization. You can certainly do the works yourself as long as, again, your internal resources have the bandwidth. Similar to a small organization, consultants can provide an impartial perspective and help teams to navigate through difficult questions around prioritizing their business processes without creating internal enemies once the project is over. If you do use software, you'll again want to be sure your consultants are knowledgeable in how to use it, or again, you may be able to find a discount on software with whatever services you think your organization could benefit from. Lastly, similar to a small organization, you may find consultants can be helpful in fulfilling compliance obligations, such as verifying that your plan is complete or exercised, and adding credibility to your plan by demonstrating the involvement of expertise in your plan's development and maintenance. So as a large organization, you may be fine with completing all the steps that will lead you to the first draft of your plan, but you may want to consider a third party to help you with the exercising. Not only does this alleviate some of the burden from your internal resources, it also provides a fresh perspective on your plan and may result in uncovering gaps that may have otherwise gone unnoticed. Now, if you have the manpower but not the budget for consulting, you may consider a combination of internal exercising and just occasionally bringing in consultants to run an exercise. This is more budget friendly, but still provides you with a fresh perspective, maybe every second or third exercise, just to make sure your plan is not evolving in a vacuum. If manpower is a concern, you can certainly consider outsourcing portions of your plan maintenance. This is becoming a more popular service among organizations who find that even with the best of intentions, their business continuity plan never seems to reach the top of their to-do lists. Routine updates of personnel lists, vendor lists, and plan documents, along with the chasing down of people to execute outstanding action items, are just a few of the maintenance items you can consider outsourcing, leaving your internal resources responsible for just the major organizational changes, such as the addition of a new product or service, or major change in processes, or department reorganization. The gap analysis, again, is helpful, particularly if you've had a major org change or a major change in who is now responsible for your business continuity plan. Or audit services if you have compliance requirements that you have to meet. Of course, you can always hire someone to do the heavy lifting at the start, getting your threat risk assessment and business impact analysis complete and your first draft written, and then leverage your internal resources to focus on the maintenance and exercising. Ultimately, there's a lot of flexibility in what consulting services you may want to leverage depending on the circumstances you find yourself in. So that finishes up part 3 of our 4-part series on when to invest in business continuity software or consultants. In our final part, we'll take a look at when software and consultants might be useful in a large organization with no internal business continuity expertise. I'll see you right back here for part 4.
Use King Phoenix and Shield with its mapping, its dashboards, its permissioning, its dependency mapping, and its automatically redacted plans to shield your business from chaos. Kingsbridge, BC.